a pleasure once again having you join me on the program.
Thank you. That's it.
So we're greeted with this report from Unilever saying that they've stopped they stopped the production of the operation of their personal skincare product from Nigeria. When I saw that report, I was really asking myself, what is happening in Nigeria? This same president steering the ship of Nigeria at the moment, as since he assumed office, it has been one exit of the order of multinationals. And the big question now is, how many more are left to go, and what is the ripple effect on the socio-economic well-being of the nation? Your thoughts on this?
Well, even from the intro, you could see that even NECA is saying about 20,000 workers will be affected. You know, again, if you look at it, it is more than that because of the ripple effect you have just mentioned. Those workers who are in Unilever, who are in GSK, who are in Jumia is even living too.
Yes.
Even both food
closed down.
You know, and of course, from the energy sector, you have this Equinox. They are also, in fact, they have sold.
They've left.
Over how many decades of being in the energy subsector in the Nigerian economy. They have sold their interest, about 3% in Agbami field. They sold out to a local company. Now, the effect of this now is like a value chain. Take Unilever, for example, or GSK. They have a lot of vendors, contractors, who supply one thing or the other for that operation. Now, with Unilever or GSK now exiting Nigeria, looking at the reasons they have given, you will see that the workers too will lose their jobs. Not the workers, those suppliers, those vendors will also lose. And those ones too also have their own workers too. So you can see the ripple effect. It will increase our unemployment rate. That is one. And of course, from what we have seen, unemployment rate will lead to insecurity in the country. That is a major problem there. Then, even shareholders, apart from the employees, you know, some of these companies were quoted or listed in Nigerian exchange, like that of GSK, that of Unilever. However, some experts will tell me, of course, those shareholders will be paid off. You know, if you have 5,000 shares, you will just do some kind of arithmetic and use a better price and multiply, and they pay off the shareholders. Yes. But again, I want to look at it from another perspective.
All right.
Take GSK. They've been operating for over 50 years in the country. And I believe that they have done so much when it comes to healthcare services. You know, and all these over 50 years you were operating in Nigeria, it did not seem necessary to try and see how they can source some of their raw material locally. They did. They made so much profit. They remit to their own country because it was cheaper and better for them, at the same time patronizing their own country. Because I believe when you have a research and development unit, as you move on, you need to see some raw materials that can effectively replace what you're already used to. But they felt it was not necessary because they were also saving their own country. And when the issue of Naira unification came up, scarcity of forex and all that, it was really impacting on their operation. And the only thing they saw necessary was to just exit the country after over 50 years of operation.
I have this troubling question I want to ask you, and the question is, why now?
Yes, why now? It's a very good question. Apart from GSK, there are even Shell. Has even sold his
shares, yes.
And they are leaving.
And there seem to be more online, or some even in talks with the government. We want to leave.
I agree with you. Yes. Agree to leave. There's no problem with that. But I am saying there should be some form of transition. Look at the Equinox and the energy sector. They say they have about 53% in Agbami oil fields being operated by Chevron. They have sold to a local energy company. Those are the kind of things, because it is only Nigeria that can build Nigeria. We only just need some assistance from foreigners or these multinationals to come.
Do we have the capacity to?
We need to have the capacity. Now, Equinox has left, even Shell. There are people who are ready now to buy up the asset of Shell to continue operation. So, Again, we should also see this exit for me as technology transfer. That is, you are giving opportunity for our own local manufacturers to take the bull by the horn. We cannot continue to wait and begin to depend on this multinational. It is obvious they have come here to make us, they are gone. So we should begin to develop that capacity and see that we take over all these assets they are leaving behind, because we cannot continue to be lamenting.
Can I disagree with you a little on this, Charles? You say that it's so obvious that the multinationals are only here for selfish reasons, that they just come, make their investment, get the money, and they go invest in their host country. Now let's look at it from this perspective. In a situation whereby you're having multinationals exiting your country, what does that speak to the volume of foreign direct investment into the country? It's declining. Let's fix that.
Yes, that's true.
It's declining.
Yes.
And then the president is busy traveling from one country to the other, trying to get investors to come in.
Yes.
Now, with this kind of sad news, this kind of bad news, with all the macroeconomic fundamentals on the table, glaring for everyone to see, inflation 28.92%.
I agree.
And forex is very difficult to get. Even those who are operating in the country cannot repatriate their funds. Look at all of these fundamentals. Yes, look at all of these fundamentals.
Even our local SMEs
would you, Charles, as a foreign investor, want to come in and do business in this nation?
Okay, good. Very good analysis. Every economy has its own challenge. I am not saying, I'm not speaking for this government. Neither am I their spokesperson. But I'm saying every country has its own challenge. And it is high time we Nigerians begin to face it headlong. There's no amount of begging you will beg Shell to remain in Nigeria. They are made up their mind. There are no amount of begging you will beg Unilever to say we are chopping our economies in profit, please remain. They are made up their mind. So go, just like a marriage. Once the woman has made up her mind to go, will you as the man, will you continue to be begging her? No, you just make that exit, peaceful. So that as they go, some of the things our workers have learned from them, kind of technology transfer. These Nigerians who have worked with multinationals, we can also take the Equinors, for example, now, energy company. They have bought, a local company has bought their interests. Now, there were some Nigerian engineers working for this foreign company. The local investor that has bought will retain those ones and see how they can continue operation. The same thing happens to Shell. That is my own, because we cannot continue to lament. Already you have said 28.92% inflation rate. We got forex is not available. Must we continue to lament? The only thing is, what are the solutions?
That's it.
That is what we're looking at now.
Yes.
And that's I'm giving
yes,
and Nigerian government.
That's where I'm going to take my next question now. Let's narrow our conversation down to the policy of this administration.
Okay.
They came in brutal.
Yes.
They came in aggressive.
Yes.
And they came in hard on. And they're trying to make Nigerians realize that we know what we are doing. Even before you gave us the opportunity to become your leaders, we've sat down and we thought things through. These and these and these are these areas that we think we need to start work up. We're going to take off on and then bring about some kind of necessary change. Fuel subsidy, Nigerians are still bearing the brunt, which has skyrocketed almost every aspect of goods and services in the country.
That's true.
Now, the unification of the exchange rate, manufacturers are complaining. Some local manufacturers are leaving the country. They're switching focus now to other West African countries. Let's narrow our focus down to the policy of the government. What do you have to say about the policies of this government? They told us that in this coming year, that the coming year, that was when we were in 2023, that the coming year, things will normalize and stabilize. We're in 2024, but there's no glimmer of hope at all. Do you think that this policy of the government is coming at the right time? And what should they be doing to bring about the necessary renewed hope that's already lost, both in the public, in the private sector, and also to the masses out there?
I agree with you. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for the administration. They come with all the renewed hope, and they were going to turn things and all that. And you saw those measures they put in place. And like I said, I'm not a spokesperson for the government, but they did what they felt was necessary to kind of kickstart the economy. First of all, naira unification, which you have mentioned, it's a good policy. But there is one thing to have a good policy, and another thing, the implementation of that policy. What were the things they put on ground before implementing? Fine, that was a structural defect here and there. But that does not mean that we just going to fold our hands. There is a problem. Your house is already burning. You will not be shouting and saying, who caused it? Your first thing to do is to put out that fire. I agree with you. The government policies have not been too favorable, not only to multinational, also to local SMEs. Look at the power crisis. And that's where the government will now have to take it headlong and see how they can solve that power crisis, which is very, very key for local SMEs to be able to breathe. Because for now, they cannot breathe. Now, apart from that, corruption in this government of several Nigerian governments, not only this particular one, has also made FDIs not to come. Because when these persons come and they see how you operate, it's difficult for them. Like you have said, our president has been running outside. A salesman, a marketer. A marketer will not tell you that even if his company is having issue, he will still go out there and market his company's product. And that's what the president has done. But it's very tough. After he has gone to market, coming back home, there is corruption in the business. Of course, when you are bringing those to where they came or where they have come, they now saw all this. It's a big problem for them to continue to remain. So, first of all, power crisis, corruption has to be taken care of. And the president and his team must show leadership by example.